They always said I had my head in the clouds. They never expected I'd turn the sky into my empire. Part 1. I was invisible at that table. Now they can't look away. I was always the one they forgot to mention. At family dinners, my name only came up when someone needed a favor. A ride, a few dollars, a hand with something technical. When it came to praise, recognition, pride, I might as well have been wallpaper. I remember one particular family reunion at a downtown banquet hall. White linen, champagne, laughter echoing off marble walls. Everyone wore their best, suits, pearls, name-brand watches. I came in a jacket I borrowed from a thrift shop and shoes with soles that had tasted more rain than leather. My cousin Blake had just gotten promoted at his law firm. Toasts were made, applause roared. Even my uncle, the coldest of all, raised a glass and said, "Now that's what success looks like." No one asked me what I was working on, not even out of politeness. "Still doing your little app thing?" My older brother Liam smirked, just loud enough for others to hear. "Yeah," I said, trying to keep my voice even. "Still building?" He shook his head, turned to the table and said, "He's been building for 6 years, still hasn't finished a damn thing." Laughter, even from my mum. That one burned. But what they didn't see were the nights I bled into my keyboard. They didn't see me sleeping on floors, coding with numb fingers in December, skipping meals to pay for cloud hosting. They didn't know I'd been rejected by over 70 investors, that I'd once tried to sell my laptop to pay rent before deciding I'd rather be homeless than give up. I had every reason to quit, and I almost did. There was a time I didn't leave my apartment for weeks. Just walls, silence, and a blinking cursor on a screen that mocked me more than the world ever could. I ate cold instant noodles, drank tap water, and told myself it was temporary. But days blurred, hope flickered, and my inner voice turned cruel. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not built for this. Maybe the world doesn't want what I'm making. Then, one night I got a message from someone in Brazil. They wrote, "Your app helped me pay off my first loan. I cried today. Thank you." I stared at that message for 15 minutes. Then I cried too, not because I'd succeeded, but because I realized someone out there saw me, and I wasn't done yet. That night I tore my code apart and rebuilt it from scratch. I slept 2 hours a night. I pitched new investors, redesigned the UI, reimagined the business model. I stopped trying to impress Silicon Valley and started listening to the people who actually needed the product. A month later, one of those rejections turned into a meeting. That meeting turned into a pilot. The pilot turned into a funding round. Then everything changed. Part 2. I didn't just rise. I rebuilt the ladder they burned. The seed funding gave me oxygen, but it was still just that, a seed. I didn't celebrate. I didn't post. I got back to work like a man on borrowed time. For the next 11 months, I lived in a one-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. I turned the living room into a war room, whiteboards filled with market data, sticky notes on my fridge that said things like, "Scale, don't sink," and "Remember how they laughed." The product evolved. What started as a simple budgeting tool became a full financial recovery platform, AI-backed savings strategies, micro-loan access, and even a job-matching feature for people below the poverty line. No fluff. Just survival tools, disguised as sleek tech. I wasn't trying to be the next big thing anymore. I was trying to save people like me. And the world noticed. We hit 100K downloads in under 3 months, 500K in 5. Then one night, I opened my dashboard and saw it. 1 million users. A week later, we were acquired. Not entirely. I kept 51%, but the rest, $42 million. I stared at the contract, then called my mum. She didn't answer. I didn't try again. Instead, I flew to New York, closed the deal, and used my share to rebuild the company under my name. Full control, no gatekeepers. I hired people who had been told no too many times. Ex-cons, single mums, former foster kids. People who had grit in their teeth and stories in their silence. My company became a quiet revolution. One newspaper called me the founder who builds from the gutter up. I smiled at that. They finally got it. Then one day, an invitation landed in my inbox. Family reunion. Same hotel ballroom, same family, same faces, same ones who forgot me at the last one. I didn't hesitate. I RSVP'd yes. Then I made a call. To my head of strategy. "Book out the entire venue," I said, "under our name." "All of it?" "Every square inch. I want the family to walk into a room that now belongs to me." The day came. I wore a tailored black suit and arrived last. 5 black cars pulled up behind me, my executive team. 2 of them were once homeless, 1 used to be a janitor. All of them now owned equity, all of them now millionaires. We walked in together. The family went silent. Uncle Greg dropped his fork. Aunt Regina's jaw literally fell open. My brother Liam stared like he was trying to compute a language he never learned. Someone said, "Wait, is that?" Another whispered, "I thought he went broke." My cousin Blake stood up. "Ryan?" he said, smiling thinly. "Wow, you look different." I smiled back. "Ownership suits me." We sat. I ordered a round of sparkling water for my table. I watched them sneak glances, whisper. My mum finally came over. She was holding her phone as if proof of something. "I've been reading about you," she said softly. "Have you?" I answered. She nodded. "I didn't know. You were doing all this." I nodded too. "I know." Her eyes softened. "I'm proud of you." I held her gaze. "That's nice," I said, but I didn't need it to finish. Later, my brother tried to laugh it off. "You really pulled it off, huh? You were just a broke dreamer. Now you're what? A millionaire?" "Closer to 100 of those." He blinked. No more jokes. Just silence. Part 3. I don't need their respect. But I took it anyway. The room had flipped. Suddenly every eye was on me. Every conversation seemed to orbit around my name, like I was gravity they never believed existed until it bent their reality. I could feel the shift, not just in their stares, but in their tone. No more mockery, no more smirks, just a strange cocktail of curiosity, envy, and regret. They asked about the company, the money, the app. Suddenly everyone always knew I'd make it. Liam, who once laughed in my face, now leaned over and said, "You know, maybe we should collaborate on something." I raised an eyebrow. "Collaborate?" "Yeah," he shrugged. "Maybe you could help me build something. I've got a few ideas. You know, we could team up." I sipped my water slowly. "I think you forgot," I said. "You told me I had no business building anything." He chuckled awkwardly. "Come on, I was just joking back then." I stood up, fixing my sleeves. "So was I. When I said I forgave you." One of my aunts approached me with a glass of wine in one hand and a desperate smile in the other. "We always said you were the smart one," she cooed. "Didn't we, Reg?" She nudged her sister. Regina nodded too fast. "Oh, yes, he just took the scenic route." I looked around the ballroom, the very one I now owned. The staff wore our logo on their sleeves. The wine was ours. The payment for the venue, wired under my name, scenic route. They built a mountain of doubt. I climbed it barefoot, and now they were clapping from the base. Then someone said something that hit harder than the rest. It was Grandma. She hadn't said much all evening, just sat in the corner watching, sipping tea. But as I passed by to leave, she reached out and touched my hand. "You never changed, Ryan," she said quietly. I stopped. "What do you mean?" "You always had the fire. They just didn't see it." Her hand trembled slightly. "But I did. Even when I didn't say it, I saw it." For the first time all evening, I felt something crack. Not anger, just something warm. Bitter and sweet. "Thank you," I whispered. She smiled. "Go build bigger things. Leave us behind if you have to." As I walked out of the ballroom, my team followed. The doors closed behind us like the final page of a chapter long overdue. Outside, the city lights blinked like 1,000 new beginnings. One of my co-founders asked, "You okay?" I looked up. "Yeah," I said. "I used to dream about this night." "And now?" I smiled. "Now I dream bigger."